Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. And today I've got Johnny Litecoin joining us. He is an expert in payments, digital payments, and I really want his opinion on what's going on with Visa and MasterCard. Seems like they dodged a bullet there in the battle for privacy. We'll talk about it right after this. So give us a like, share this video. Let's get some more information out there and educate the masses.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from Calyx Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from Calyx Solutions now to secure your crypto future.
Hey, Johnny, welcome to the show and welcome to everybody watching. Looks like you have been working out a little bit. Yeah. I posted, where's your Twitter? There was a picture recently and I was like, holy cow, Johnny's been hitting the gym. He's ready for spring. Where are you? Where are you? Lord.
There I go.
Who wants some Litecoin tank tops? I want a Litecoin tank top. Bitcoin daddy tank from CoinFlip, but I definitely need a Litecoin one for summer. So I have a new merch store. You guys can find the link in the description. So I'll make you a Litecoin daddy tank top.
Nice.
Put it in the merch store. I was also going to do a Johnny quote. I was going to do a quote from, you know, how everybody on the show has kind of like their go-to saying, where nothing they do, what do you say? Nothing they do is in your best interest.
Nothing that they do ever has your best interest at heart.
Yes. So I was going to have that and then tag Johnny Litecoin.
That was always my baseline for working in the banking system to some degree, doing the credit card stuff. Whenever people be shocked by stuff, I always said to them, you always have to go back to your baseline. Nothing that they do ever has your best interests at heart. If you can remember that line, all of this makes sense because people, because why is this person's money being held? Why they do this? Why they do that? Why are they taking so long to do this stuff? Nothing that they do ever has your best interest at heart. I'm trying to change somebody's bank account right now that's the bank account on file for one of my merchants. 2 months it's going back and forth. I mean, they're like, oh, you didn't put a period on page 8 on the form. It's a 9-page form to get this thing changed. And they're
telling you.
They're like, oh, we went back and forth so many times. The last time we did it, they said, sorry, the date now is too old. It's not reflective within 30 days. I'm like, because you guys have been going, and they don't look at it right away. They take 4 or 5 business days to review it. So you put it in, you're like, let's see it's ridiculous. I mean, that
goes to what I've been learning about in that book, Fruit from a Poisonous Tree, about the magicians and how, like, they make jokes of magic and make fun of people for magic and words. But I think about how powerful code is, and code is language or words. And it can be used for good or evil. I believe Satoshi created it for good, for we the people. But they have been using words or language, spells, misspelling, spelling, for a long time to trap us in these contracts and the power of the contract. And there's all these rules around the spells and how you spell something. So it's interesting that you're seeing that, especially in the banking world.
Yeah,
I
they're
think that
brutal.
falls in line.
And for me, I expect it. I don't get work. I used to get really like bothered by all this stuff. And that's why I always said like Litecoin and crypto kind of saved me, because I saw that there was a better option out there and something to look forward and strive for that was going to fix things. But yeah, they're brutal. I mean, I used to take the stuff, like I couldn't sleep at night. Like I'd be like waking up like, oh, I got this person's compliance or this or that. And it's like, I blame myself for everything. And I finally just said,
Yeah.
I'm just working in this system. I don't want it to be this way. Like, it's not even like, these aren't even like the laws of America. They're just going by whatever they damn please. And what most people don't realize is that these banking cartels and the whole banking system in general, they can hold your money for 180 days at any point in time if they want to. And they don't really need a reason. I mean, good luck getting a reason from them. You'll be waiting for 2 months to get a reason. Meanwhile, they're holding your money. And it all goes back to, it's not your money. When it's in that system, you might have a claim check on it, but that's about it. It's not your money. It's their money, and they're moving.
You actually become a creditor, how is it? It's like you give them the money and then you're like a liability to them. As soon as you give them your money, it's theirs. Yeah. And then you are then a burden to them because you might ask for it back.
Sure. They don't want you asking for it back. Don't go doing that now. It's really insane. It's an insane system. But what's insane is that Americans allowed this for convenience. And that's what disappoints me, is that, where's people's balls anymore? Like, where's people's like guts? People want stuff easy. You tell people stuff about freedom. Some people care. Most people are like, I don't care. I just want it to be easy, work. As long as it works, I don't care what you're saying, yada, yada, yada. And you should care. You should care, because it's,
well, and these people that are in office that don't have authority, making claims, lording over us. So these power hungry people in office need to read the Constitution. The New York AG declares Ethereum a security. Who gave him the power to declare Ethereum a security?
Who's the New York Attorney General in all this anyways to make that call in the first place? And that's not a financial position. No. So they're making a ruling on Ethereum, as a security.
And Congress makes the laws that the people elect congressmen and women to represent them. So we the people make the laws. But some of these people forgot that. And that's what we have to stand up and say no. And that's what I was excited to see this. I titled this, I took a nod from Sean Hannity's Dodging a Bullet, Visa MasterCard reverse course on gun tracking. So I feel like this is a win, and avoid a privacy showdown. So I would have to say that a lot of 2A people, Second Amendment supporters, gun owners, are maybe a little more educated. Maybe I shouldn't say that, in the Constitution than most people, because of the big, issue around it, and always having to defend your constitutional rights. Like, it seems like there's been a fight for that, a more public fight for a long time. So the credit card companies were going to the payment processors were going to report who was buying guns. And there are several bills in several states related to the use of this new code. If passed, there will be a result will be an inconsistency of the ISO standard and could be applied by merchants, issuers, acquirers, networks. A Visa spokesman said, it's for that reason we've decided to pause on the implementation of the firearms specific MCC. I think this is a big win for the Second Amendment, because they were going to, the payment processors last year announced that they would adopt this International Organization for Standards new merchant category code.
Yeah.
And we're hearing a lot of this, like Elon's talking about a social scoring system, and he's going to put out his new X platform, which is like the everything app, and have payments on there. And while he's announcing that, in the same breath, he's telling you there'll be social scoring on it. I mean, if there are not Antichrist flags going up in your mind everywhere, I mean, he also wants to put a Neuralink chip in your head. So, I mean, I know a lot of people think, oh, we're crypto, we love Elon, all that kind of stuff. But man, he doesn't pass the sniff test for me yet. So I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm happy that Twitter got better since he took it over.
I don't know that it did. I think the narrative around Twitter got better. A couple people got let back on, whatever. But like, I was up to almost 15,000 people. And then within like 2 weeks, I was down to 14,000 again. I was like,
what's up?
What just
what's up
happened?
With this kind of thing?
Are they cleaning up the bots? That would be great. If it's a positive, real cleanup. Or am I being shadow banned?
Again, I think Twitter got better, but I think he's has the invisible hand helping him. How did he get to where he is?
Yeah.
The whole Dogecoin thing, how did that come about?
He's a little less socially awkward than Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah. So he doesn't pass the sniff test for me either, but I take everything with a grain of salt, I guess. And I'd say, hey, Twitter does seem better since he took it over. So I'm just kind of happy for that. It seems like they're censoring less. And it seems like he's at least like, he may not pass the sniff test, but he's at least saying more stuff that's on our side. So I'll
that's what scares me.
It does. It's like what I always say with TikTok. Sometimes people say, oh, I only look at conservative videos. They're not targeting me, or I beat their algorithm. I'm like, they got you right where they want you. They know exactly how to get you now. You know what I mean? Like, so it's,
they put you in a corner and told you who your leader is.
Yeah.
It's what they've done to the Black community with some white leader that pretends like he's for Black rights. Well, the Black community can support or advocate for all human rights and that they should be treated equally. They don't need a white guy to fight for them.
No.
There's perfectly capable, very intelligent people among the Black community that can do that. So I don't know, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, be careful who they tell you is your leader. It scares me.
Yeah. Be very careful. There's a big effort to deceive us right now on all fronts. I mean, it's in every aspect of your life right now where they're actively deceiving us through social media, through politicians, through news they put out, through UFOs, through, spills and trains derailing and all this stuff. So it's very hard to decipher it because so much is coming at us at once. And it's like, well, what do they do next? What do they do next? I don't know. They're definitely breaking the financial system with all this stuff. I mean, it's they're breaking the financial system. And it's kind of like too little, too late. So now they're just Now they're just hurting things worse. And it's when they ignored this for years and years and years. And now it's like, all right, we're going to do this aggressive rate hiking. They know what they're doing. And it's a lot of the data we see is all trailing data. They can manipulate it. But, look at home prices, look at people's, dispensable income or spendable income. And look at when you go to the grocery store, how much your bill is. And then you see how people are struggling out there now. There's not.
I heard a thing the other day that there's like in America, there are like a significant number of people that are missing a meal on purpose to be able, like skipping one meal a day because they don't have enough, or they're making, choosing not to eat so that their family members can, or whatever. And I mean, there's a lot of struggle right now. I don't know. I go back to there was an interview with a lady that I watched, that she was raised in the Great Depression, and she said, well, we didn't know, we didn't call it the Great Depression when we were in it.
Right.
We didn't know that till many years later, when looking back where we were. And I think we may be close to, or coming into, or part of that situation right now, where we're all trying to preserve our value, our wealth, and protect our families, and while holding on to our constitutional rights, our sovereign rights. And I think that's the fight, is fighting for the truth. And we have to do that through education. I think that's the only way we get out of it.
And it's not, they can't keep raising these interest rates. I mean, it's only so high. That's the little ruse that's going on. They're talking tough. They can only go so high. If not, I think right now, I mean, a majority of the money goes to just servicing the interest on the debt.
Mm-hmm.
If that number goes too high, then all of the revenue that comes in just goes to servicing that interest on the debt. And it's like, what's the point of this? Why don't you just do a debt jubilee, or whatever they call it? You know what I mean? And there's no way out in a debt-based system. That, like, some people have been putting videos out about it lately, how the banks stopped lending and loans are stopping, and a lot of these people that are involved in lending got laid off and all that. And that doesn't work in a debt-based system, because most of the money is created through banks issuing these loans, and that's really how the money gets out there. So
that's why the PPP happened. That was really, people thought that was giving small business and giving businesses loans and whatever. It was really more about the fees and keeping the banks going. That kept the banks going. Sure. By having that money turnover. Sure. If we stop spending, it breaks.
And look at all that money floating around. Then now that money's gone. Mm-hmm. And it's now everything costs more. A house that a $500,000 house, your monthly payment now is a lot higher because of the interest. So what you could afford before, you can't afford now. Cars are being repossessed at all.
We have a friend that used to be a bail bondsman, and he switched to being a repo guy. He got a car hauler, like a trailer with a come along thing and a car hauler. And he said, because the demand is so high for repos right now, nobody can make their car payment.
Yeah.
And it's that thing, like when the first thing starts to go, it's, well, we can't eat out anymore. We can't, we're not going to go to the movies. We're going to cut back here. We're going to cut back there, to the point where you're cutting back on your car payments, your meals. I mean, that's where America is. It's pretty incredible.
We're in a dark place, and it's, this tough thing is for people is that, a lot of this stuff does break you down mentally. Like, you see your prices, you see crypto prices dropping. You're like, oh my God, like, because we're in such a fiat-based world, and everything is priced in dollars. So if you see that number go down, you're like, well, now my crypto can buy me less. And it's very like, it beats you up internally. And you just gotta, the hard thing is most people can't get past that and saying, hey, well, is this a freedom system? This is your way to the next system they launch. And these are very hard concepts for a lot of people because they don't think about, they don't know what the Federal Reserve is. They don't know what the Treasury is. They don't know the dollar was backed by gold. A lot of people you ask still think the dollar's backed by gold.
Yeah, they do.
So it's not.
They also think the dollar is still the world reserve currency. And that ended a couple weeks ago when Saudi Arabia made a deal with China to sell oil in the digital yuan. I mean, the BRICS thing is happening. And
so it's still the world reserve currency, but it's not the petrodollar anymore.
Okay.
So it lost its petrodollar status.
As petrodollar.
And
okay.
At some point we'll probably have two world reserve currencies, one being the SDR and the other being the BRICS currency. And
No, what is the SDR?
That's like
the SWIFT system money.
That's like all like the all like the
G7 or
G10 countries or whatever, and it's like a basket of currencies that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I forget what bank, like the World Bank or one of those, like International Bank of Settlements, they use it. It'll be some type of currency that I can't see it being one country's currency anymore in the world environment that we're in. I can't see anybody agreeing to that anymore, especially since the U.S. has them. The U.S. has 31 trillion in national debt. What we admit to. There's people like Catherine Austin Fitts found a lot of missing money. I think China only has like 2.6 trillion, and they have four times our population. So it's like, well, the U.S. is by far the most indebted nation. So it's like, if the world really wakes up to this, they'll say, wait a minute, the country that's in the most debt, that spends the most, we're going to have their currency still be the world reserve currency. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And that goes back to get your assets into hard money, hard assets.
Hard money, hard assets. I mean, that's the
Johnny muscles there.
That's the name. That's the name of the game, because it's again, it's even like I think the stock market, when the Fed lowers interest rates, usually it pumps up the stock market. But do you really own those shares of the stock?
Yeah. Who are you collecting from? Or are you going to take your little piece of paper of stock and go to the grocery store?
Right. And how do you
exchange that with somebody?
Right.
Because you're not allowed to go to the stock exchange, right?
The whole system, even if they give you your stock certificates, there is a way to request them. It takes several weeks. They try to convince you not to get them, but there is a way to get them. But then how do you use those? And that's again, Litecoin, Bitcoin, gold, silver, these are currencies. You know what I mean? So it's they're always going to be usable, transferable. There was a middle transfer Bitcoin. It needs no permission from anyone. You could always hand someone a silver coin and pay for something. And I mean, silver probably is the best fundamentals on planet Earth out of any asset. It's just ridiculously manipulated, and it's priced wrong. It's priced through the futures contract. But I know Bix was
That's the
doing video.
paper's price. That's not the price if you want it physically in your
Right,
possession. It's a totally different price. So
right.
that's the price that you really need to look at. Like they were saying, oh, silver's $20. Yeah, but not if you go to a coin shop or go contact Andy at my
Cheapest you'll get is
email.
probably
Yeah.
24, $25 an ounce.
Yeah. Right now he has a special on 10-ounce bars. I think it's like $2.99 over spot. But still, I mean, to have it in your own possession is a different price. And that tells you right there what kind of manipulation there is
And
in the
there's
silver market.
and there's so much demand coming for silver because of all these solar panels and all this stuff. And
Batteries. Yeah.
it's I mean, like it or not, a lot of that stuff's coming. So it's not as efficient. I wouldn't want an electric car. I want a car with petro and keys, because they can control us with software in an electric vehicle. They can't control you with petro and an
Well, and
ignition.
batteries
But
die in the cold or whatever, or have less life or whatever. Like you're in New Jersey. Like if you go try to drive somewhere very far in the winter, you're out of luck.
that's the other thing. But the issue is, I guess, is that all this oil that's out there, it's getting harder and harder to get. It's not like over time the oil, even a lot of the shale oil they say that they have, where it's not nearly as easy as getting oil that was in like Saudi Arabia, where they're basically there, you're putting a straw on the ground and you're siphoning it out, and you're going to get a consistent output for a 50-year time period. Where there's shale oil, it's much harder to get out. So you have to use a lot more energy and oil to get it out. And then the production level drops off after 30 days and starts dropping and dropping and dropping. So I think when you look at all these dynamics, you're going to see that a lot of this stuff will come eventually over time. It's not feasible now. So silver is such a key component of all this stuff, that the demand for silver is only going to rise and rise and rise, because it's so used in
And
all
it's
this.
consumed,
It's
which is different than
consumed.
gold. Gold, the same piece of gold that you have right now could be some gold that was around in Rome. Silver is actually consumed through medicine. I think some of it technology, but I think some of that can be recycled. But I know the medical issue, like it's actually consumed and won't return. So,
But even a lot of the electronics it's in, because the price is held down so much, it's not feasible to recycle it. So the electronics are thrown out. That ounce of silver is gone, or whatever that was in that
interesting.
TV or whatever. So it's not. A car gets junked. They're not going to extract the silver out of there. They're going to junk the car. So silver, like you said, yeah, gold that you have, like here's 2 gold chains or white gold, and this could have been around the neck of Cleopatra in her time. We don't know. We don't know, because it's not, it's not consumed at all. But I don't think you should neglect gold completely, because it is a tier 1 asset. It is the primary monetary metal. So it is a lot more, because of the price differential, it's a lot easier to move around $1 million in gold versus $1 million in silver. So there is some, I guess, benefit of gold. Silver has better fundamentals, but just because something has good fundamentals doesn't mean it's always going to perform well right away. Or when does it perform well? A lot of people think that they think gold will kind of spike first, and then after gold goes up, you'll see the major move happen in silver. I think Andy Scheckman was saying that. So it's interesting.
I'll have to ask him about that. He's going to come on again next week. So
ask him about it. I'm pretty sure he said that he thinks gold will make the big move first, and then maybe like
it makes a lot of sense. There's a bunch of central banks that are buying up gold right now. I mean, some huge gold purchases are happening right now. So It makes a lot of sense. But we were talking about your recommendation that you have given quite a bit now about your 6 hard assets that everybody should be in. So gold, silver, Litecoin, Bitcoin, or was it 5? And
6.
land
Land
and
is
yourself.
and yourself.
Yes.
And yourself could be you're doing something in crypto that you have knowledge of. Maybe you're good with NFTs and you know how to flip them and trade them. What's a good thing to do? You have a skill. Work on that skill. Invest in your own health, your happiness, things of that nature. So those are really what I'm talking about. And all cryptos fall under investing in yourself, because you may know something about a crypto that other people don't know. And because you have an insight on that industry or that problem or that thing. So don't say, well, Johnny only said Bitcoin. And I look at Bitcoin and Litecoin as commodities. They're really 2 of the only crypto commodities, because of the proof of work mining, because of the energy required to make them, manufacture them, however you want to phrase it. So it's, those are my 6 buckets. Land, they only make so much land, but I guess be careful with land because they could tax it away from you. And is it really yours?
That's a tricky one.
Seems pretty easy for them to come seize it on you.
Not if you get educated. I'm learning more and more every day. And as I learn more and more, I'll be able to share some of that on my Patreon and on my website. You guys go to litecoinlisa.net.
Yeah, not on this channel. They'll take
not on this.
they'll take that down.
Yeah, check it out and check out my merch shop in the description below. I've got a couple of items there, and I'll create Johnny's shirt this weekend.
Nice.
His tank top. Litecoin Daddy. Do you want to be Daddy Litecoin or Litecoin Daddy?
Whatever you think.
What's the right way?
Whatever the energy.
The right way to say that.
I guess that one says BTC Daddy, so I guess it'd be Litecoin Daddy.
Would be LTC Daddy. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Maybe
Size large, Lisa.
I gotcha. I saw the picture. I'm aware. I saw the guns.
I can't really fit XL because I'm not like the tallest guy. So XL's like they're too long. Like sometimes the largest don't fit like my arms or whatever or chest, but I'd rather be tight there and at least fit like lengthwise than like look like a dress and it fits me in the arms.
Then we get into the whole pronoun thing. It's just a whole bad. Yeah. We don't need Johnny in a dress. Johnny doesn't need a dress.
The crazy thing is there's some when you go out in public, there's just some, especially in my area, the people that are out there that you see, I walked around a Target last week and I was like, one person was freakier than the next. And even at the gym, when I used to go to the gym when I was younger, everybody talked. It was kind of like a social thing. You had your friends there. Now everyone's just on their
they have their headphones in and they're selfieing the whole time.
Headphones
or
in,
videoing themselves. It's weird.
It's weird. It's a weird vibe. Definitely a weird vibe for me. It's not
reminds me of Wall-E. You know that kids it's like a cartoon and there's all these obese people in like floating wheelchairs and they have like a machine or a iPad in front of them and they're all lonely and they're all together and they don't have a clue because they're all just staring at their iPad and being floated around on their wheelchair.
This ain't the world I grew up in. I'll tell you that, but it ain't the world I grew up in. I try. That's why I focus on crypto. It's at least something good to focus on. But there's just so much toxicness in the world, and it's like we need to try to save America, and it's not. I don't like the direction things are going and how they're. The problem is too, as these are so easy to use and everything's there. People are just getting lazier and they're pacifying everyone. And it's just, I liked the world better when I was a little kid. The world was a lot better place then, but we got to keep trucking forward and at least give people, we can't look back. You can't stop technology and progress. So we have to, that's why I'm into crypto. I'm into crypto. I want to preserve that cash-like experience for everyone in the future. You can't fight it. There's a digital tidal wave taking us over, but at least if we can try to shape it so it works for us, we can create a pretty decent world, I guess. And that's
totally
kind of my
agree.
thesis on life.
I agree with you 100%. I think the battle for privacy will drive us to educate ourselves, and understand that, that our money has been controlling us and enslaving us for so long. And that is the tool that we can claim or reclaim that our forefathers, the founders of this country tried to put in place. And if we can educate ourselves on it, then we can be free again, but we have to take responsibility in doing that.
Exactly. Good way to end the show for everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Please check out all the links in the description. Like I said, my new merch shop, and you can go to litecoinlisa.net, and you can also find Johnny. There's a link where you can hit up Johnny if you've got questions about payments, Litecoin. You need any Litecoin tech support, please reach out to Johnny.
And hit us up. Remember, Johnny and Lisa, we're not going to contact you guys out of the blue. So if you have a question, hit us up. Make sure it's the real Johnny Litecoin, the real Litecoin Lisa. But we're not going to target you or DM you about some investment thing to invest in. There's scammer people out there that pop up that
ask in a public forum if you have a doubt.
Or watch this show and ask in the chat. That's always a good safe way. You're watching us, so then you can ask the question, and if it's a question, we'll put it on the screen and answer it.
Perfect. Thanks, Johnny. All right, you guys, you heard it here. Get yourself into some hard assets. We'll see you next time on The New Normal.